Yo, and what is up, Sledge Nation? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Hell in a Cell 2021 might as well have bbeen called Rematch Night. WWE presents Rematch Night, where every single match on this pay-per-view card will be a match you've seen before, but two of them will be held inside a gigantic plastic toy-looking cage, which is red and ridiculous and looks like it's strung together by a bunch of red rope licorice. Doesn't look very threatening, looks more like a child's toy, and just does not feel like Hell in a Cell the way that it used to. The last pay-per-view of the Thunderdome era, I wish, was the last pay-per-view that we ever see of Hell in a Cell. But that's probably not going to be the case. We are going to talk about everything wrong with this pay-per-view and so much more right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Hell in a Cell 2021 review and reaction show. Only on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it. To all the dads, all the Sledgehead dads of Sledge Nation, happy Father's Day, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed your day, and I apologize for the fact that, much like myself, our days had to be ruined with a WWE pay-per-view on a night where you would much rather just focus your attention on doing something you would like to enjoy. It's Father's Day, after all. Why wouldn't you want to do what you want to do? But no, you're a wrestling fan, so like me, you're going to torture yourself. You're going to sit yourself in front of Hell in a Cell, and you're going to ruin your night. Or if you're a smart dad, you would just skip the pay-per-view altogether and just wait for the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show review, as many of you do, and I thank you for that. And here we are. Here we are, having to talk about this show, which was like watching nothing. This show was very much akin to watching an episode of Monday Night Raw. Rematch after rematch after rematch. We had the Alexa Bliss oogity boogity spooky show of the night. Alexa Bliss can hypnotize people now. Either that or she's become a Sith Lord. And she's making Nia Jax mimic her every move and slap Reginald in the face. Now, I don't mind Reggie getting a good old smacker in the face, but I am so done with this Alexa Bliss is an, conjuring character bullshit. It's just so boring. It's a shame because I was so into the Alexa character when this first went down. You guys remember when it happened and I was sitting here going, this could be really good. But of course, in WWE fashion, it just all went downhill from there. They took The Fiend completely out of this angle. We got Alexa coming out to The Fiend's music with the makeup, being spooky, controlling people with her mind, and beating Shayna Baszler on pay-per-view. So where does Shayna Baszler go from here? Does it matter that there was disqualifications or shenanigans along the way for Shayna Baszler? No, it doesn't matter. She's dead and buried. She's practically done. I don't see how they could repair her after what they did to her tonight. The women's action on this night, for the most part, was nothing to be overexcited about, with the exception of the first match of the night. Now, I wouldn't even get overexcited about it. This was the Hell in a Cell matchup for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair, the champ, going in there against Bayley, who wants her title back after she lost it to Sasha Banks. Bayley took it from Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. Bianca took it back from Sasha Banks at WrestleMania and has been a very just there kind of champion, very similar to the run of Rio Ripley. She's been written, her character has been given terrible promos, and there's just not really much to get behind. But she went out there tonight and she worked her ass off. This was a very entertaining match. It was about 20 minutes long, and they used the cage to the best of their abilities. Bianca used her hair. Bayley had this really cool kind of taped together double kendo stick to use in spots. They were doing their very best to sell this Hell in a Cell match, and they did a great job. My favorite part of this match was the finish. Not because it was the end of the match, but because of the finish itself, which was Bianca hitting the KOD on Bayley, but she did so on a ladder. It was very old school, felt like a very Attitude Era type finish. The only way I could criticize this match at all is it just didn't really need to be inside Hell in a Cell. If this wasn't a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view gimmick show, you could have very easily just had this be a no disqualifications match, an Extreme Rules match, Falls Count Anywhere, put whatever stipulation you want on it. It didn't need to be inside the cage. Did the cage enhance the match? Maybe aesthetically, maybe in certain spots, sure. But nothing that happened in this match needed the cage to be told. All of this could have been executed without the Hell in a Cell being involved. That's a very minor criticism, because the bottom line is these girls went out there and had a great match. Are you surprised? No, of course you're not surprised. Bianca Belair is one of the top-notch women's athletes in the company. She hasn't had the best championship run. Hopefully it gets better from here. Bayley has been a good heel for the most part, but she's another one suffering from terrible writing. Her whole shtick with Bianca Belair leading up into this match was that she was laughing in her face, and Bianca felt disrespected by the laughter, so we had to settle this inside the Red Rope Licorice Twizzler Hell in a Cell Milk Crate Cage match. Where do they go from here? I don't know. Where does Bayley go from here? I don't know. Maybe they trade Bayley to Raw with the incoming draft. That's going to be a possibility for a couple of people after this night is over. I don't know. All I do know is I cannot wait until we can get the show back in front of fans, because there are rumors circulating that that's what they're waiting for. Now, I don't believe it as far as I could throw Vince McMahon, I don't believe it. No way. No way is it going to get better just because the fans are going to come back to the show. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hell in a Cell did not do much to prove me wrong. Even though there were no fans in attendance, this show is just very boring, very lackluster, and full of a bunch of matches you've already seen already. Like this next matchup we're going to talk about, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. This match existed solely for the purpose to give Seth Rollins his win back over Cesaro, which only means we are going to continue down this road, which means this story isn't done, and I just wish it was over. I was so happy that they took Cesaro and put him in a more main event light, had him challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, but then just put him directly back where they left him with Seth Rollins and Cesaro in this never-ending feud, and it's just reminding me of back when he was feuding with Sheamus. So what is this going to end up with, a Seth Rollins and Cesaro tag team? The CrossFit bar? The coffee bar? I don't know. This match was fine. I mean, this is everything we've seen from them. They have good chemistry. It was a very good match. All right, but it was almost 20 minutes long. Way too long, if you ask me. They could have shaved about 5, maybe even 10 minutes off this match. It might have made it a little bit better, only because we've seen it so much already. There's not really much as far as story is going. This is just a personal story between two guys just fucking with each other, pretty much. And who's getting the one up this time? All because Cesaro swung Seth Rollins like 27,000 times before WrestleMania, and now here we are, months after WrestleMania, and we're still fighting about this. Nothing has moved forward. Nothing has advanced. It's just the same thing over and over. We're in a stalemate because we're waiting to get back in front of fans. I don't believe that for a minute. Alexa Bliss defeated Shayna Bazer. We talked about it at the start of the show. I'm not talking about it again. It was just the most ridiculous segment of the night, and it's a shame because Shayna Bazer deserves better than this. I'll go on record to even say Alexa Bliss deserves better than this. She's shown her acting chops. She's actually shown up in the ring here tonight. She did very well, I thought. It wasn't the best match. It was a very basic match, but she worked probably more than we've seen her work in years. Aside from the, pantomime nonsense. When she wrestles, it looks like she's improved greatly. And I would like to see more of that. Less of the oogity boogity shit and more of the arm throws and leg drops and the takedowns. I'll be all right with that. She can keep the look, she can keep the creepy demeanor, but stop with the magic shit. It's awful. It's awful, and it's disrespectful to everybody involved. The person doing it and the one who it's being done to. I understand it's TV and it's entertainment, but this is ridiculous. Even the Undertaker didn't go to these lengths. You know what I mean? And her character just doesn't call for it. The Fiend didn't control people. Why is she controlling people? I don't understand it. What's with this feud? This mini feud she's got going on with Reggie. I don't understand it. I don't understand it any more than I understand why we had to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fight tonight. Kevin Owens was pissed off because Sami Zayn was laughing at him after he interfered in a few matches that Kevin Owens has been involved with Apollo Crews and Commander Yabba Dabba Abba Zeeb Zee 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 Zee, Commander Aziz Abu Boo, whatever the fuck his name is. And now here we are, once again, Sami and Kevin, good match. These guys couldn't have a bad match if they tried. If they actively went out there to try to have a bad match, it would still probably be one of the best matches on your card. They can wrestle each other in their sleep at this point. I just don't have any reason to get involved. The story here is this. I knew what was happening before the match even began. Kevin Owens, coming off of being attacked just 2 nights ago on Friday Night SmackDown, is not even 100% yet. Sami Zayn's going to end up getting his win back here, and Sami Zayn from here goes where? Into another feud with Kevin Owens, into another match with Kevin Owens? Are they going to continue to be part of the Intercontinental Championship scene, in which case we're going to continue to see them intermixed with each other week after week after week? And while, a couple of years ago, if you told me this was happening, I would have been really excited because of the talent that these two guys possess, but the WWE has just ran them both so much into the ground that there's just nothing there. This is so far removed from their feud in NXT that I just can't get invested in it. I don't know why. Let me know if you feel the same way down in the comments below, especially pertaining to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Sami gets his win back tonight, beating Kevin Owens. And then we go into the Raw Women's Championship match, Rio Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, a match nobody wanted to see in the first place. The first time it happened, we didn't want to see it. The second time it happened here tonight, the build for this match has been just fucking horrendous. They made Nikki Cross look like a jerk-off in the midst of all of this as well. They brought her back to TV to make her look like a fool, celebrating the fact that she didn't lose. She didn't win a match, but she's going to celebrate like she won the match because she didn't lose to Rio Ripley in 2 minutes. Then she didn't lose to Charlotte in 2 minutes. And then she beat Charlotte Flair. And it's just a whole bunch of stupid shit leading up into this matchup. And it went on for so long. And I just, forgive me if this upsets you, but I just don't know where all these people are coming from when they're sitting there on social media talking about how Charlotte's just one of the greatest of all time. Now, I will admit that her body is in fantastic shape, and she's a great athlete, but she's about as graceful as a wrecking ball. She does these moonsaults, and now she does the Andrade double moonsault off the top rope that looks like an ostrich falling off the top of a tightrope. And everybody's like, oh, Charlotte's so great. She's so athletic. And I don't mean it to come off disrespectfully. I'm just telling you guys what I see. Easily, Charlotte Flair is the 4th best member of the 4 horsewomen of NXT. Sasha and Bayley could wrestle rings around this girl. And I believe Becky Lynch probably could as well. I always thought she was the weakest link there. And as the only one with an actual WWE brand as her last name, she's getting all of the focal attention placed on her. Everything she does. And it's just so boring. I'm just so done with it. Charlotte Flair is the Roman Reigns of 2017. But now, in 2021... and she's killing a women's division that's already 3 feet in the ground. They're trying to revive the women's division, to resurrect it. And all you're doing is pushing it further down by going back to the same old shit. Oddly enough, by the time we got towards the end of this match, and Charlotte Flair hooked the figure 4 leg lock in on Rhea Ripley. She didn't change it to the figure 8. She didn't transition it. She kept the figure 4 on. Ripley was able to get herself free. But while Charlotte had it locked in, I was begging for Ripley, please just tap out. Let's just fucking end this. She's been the most paper champion I've ever seen in the WWE, maybe ever. She came up, she was given the champion because reasons. They gave her a title belt before they even gave her a character. She's a champion now of the division before she even has a connection with the WWE fans. Her fans are in NXT, but she's not being packaged the same way she was there. She just looks like a weird psycho multiverse version of Charlotte Flair. Just like Lacey Evans appears to be a multiverse, a kind of different being of Charlotte Flair. And notice how all of these Charlotte bots get pushed to the top of the card. Just a minor observation. But this match, this match exists. It was here. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. The big problem with this match is that it ended by disqualification. Rhea Ripley pulling the heel maneuver. She's the babyface in the scenario, but WWE don't know the difference anymore. We talk about that on almost a weekly basis here. Rhea Ripley gets herself disqualified intentionally to retain her championship. And she's proud of this. She's walking away from the match saying to Charlotte Flair, screaming to, I only did what you would have done to me. And Charlotte's sitting in the ring like, you're learning, you bitch. And I'm just like, what am I watching here? This is fucking ridiculous. It's even more ridiculous than having the referee call that disqualification. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte were outside in front of the announce table. Rhea pulled the top portion off of the announce table like she was going to go and put Charlotte through it. You know how everybody does? And this top part of the table hit Charlotte Flair, barely, and the ref called for the bell. Because, Rhea used a foreign object. Are you shitting me? Absolutely terrible booking. Now, this is the pay-per-view, right? This is where things are supposed to culminate and hopefully come to an end. But all throughout the night, we have botchy finishes, DQ finishes, and probably the biggest cardinal sin of the night. Having Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of each other for nearly a half an hour in the Hell in a Cell Red Rope Licorice Twizzler Death Match Cage of Death. Only to have it finished with a roll-up off of the distraction by MVP single-handedly, or I should say more accurately, in one fell swoop, negating the entire existence of the Hell in a Cell cage for this matchup. The point of the Hell in a Cell is to keep others out and to keep the competitors in, is it not? Yes, it is. Now, I know this is not the first time people have gotten into the cage and interfered in the cage, but when you have something on the line like this being Drew McIntyre's last chance at becoming the WWE champion, his last shot, he will never get another shot as long as the belt is around the waist of Bobby Lashley. If he does not come out victorious, and you have it finished this way, with MVP getting involved, and then a cheap-ass roll-up off a distraction, so that, is that supposed to protect Drew somehow? He looks like a big 7-foot-tall loser. He called out Bobby Lashley for this match. This is like being Babe Ruth going to the bat for the New York Yankees with the bases loaded, calling the fact that you're going to hit a home run, and then popping a dribbler to the third baseman and getting the double play to end the inning. It's the same exact thing. The metaphor works perfectly. Drew McIntyre called out the champ. Said, I'm going to beat you. I want this match in Hell in a Cell. And then Bobby gave him the whole stipulation. Well, if this is it, this is going to be your last chance. And he took it. And now you lost. You look like a chump. You look like a chump. It don't matter that they cheated to win. He's a heel. He's supposed to cheat to win. You're supposed to overcome the odds. All you did was lose. The match itself started off kind of slow. I was a little bored. I was bored for the majority of this pay-per-view. But they definitely kicked it into second gear during the second half of this matchup. They were hitting each other with everything they can get their hands on. By the end of the match, Drew McIntyre's back looked like hamburger meat. He was sent through, I think, 2 tables on 2 separate occasions, one of them being a chokeslam from the outside through a table. The other time was, I think, Bobby Lashley speared him through a table into the cage. But the problem here isn't so much the match itself, but that they can't use the Hell in a Cell the way it's supposed to be used. You know, long gone are the days where you can get in there and just tear each other up. Vince don't want any more blood. There's no more headshots with the chairs. You have to be safer. Like, all of these things are good things. It's all beneficial for the health of the athletes involved. But if you can't go all out, then don't have a match like the Hell in a Cell. All of these Hell in a Cell matches are just glorified cage matches with a little bit of an Extreme Rules edge. You don't need to be a Hell in a Cell match. Hell in a Cell matches were built on the back of guys like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. The first ever Hell in a Cell match was a bloodbath. A bloodbath that Shawn Michaels would have most definitely lost if not for the interference of the debut of Kane, which shocked the shit out of The Undertaker. He ended up eating a couple of tombstones, and Shawn Michaels gets the win. But the amount of blood that was pouring down the face of Shawn Michaels was unforgettable. Then the most famous Hell in a Cell match of all time, Undertaker versus Mankind. Mick Foley going off the top of the cage and then continuing on, coming off the stretcher, going through the top of the cage, had a tooth in his fucking nose, he's bleeding all over the place, getting slammed into tacks. The guy's half conscious. He was slammed out of his shoes. He still goes on and finishes the match. Undertaker had a broken foot. These are not the same. It's not the same. Triple H and Cactus Jack. Mick Foley's retirement match. Back in 1999. The flaming barbed wire 2x4 on top of the cage. They don't do these spots anymore. Hell in a Cell is not needed. And this pay-per-view, whether you loved it or you hated it, it proved it. Up and down. Were the matches good? The Hell in a Cell matches, yes, they were good. But they weren't Hell in a Cell matches. They were really good hardcore matches. Really good street fights. Really good cage matches. But Hell in a Cell matches, these were not. The same could be said for Friday night's Hell in a Cell match. The Hell in a Cell teaser, Roman versus Ray, good match. Great match. But the cage was only needed for one moment. And that was when Roman threw Ray into the cage. Other than that, that could have been any match. Any match type, anywhere, anytime. Hell in a Cell is a dead stipulation. It's a dead pay-per-view. And thankfully, it's over. Just like the era of the Thunderdome is now over. And the next time we get together for pay-per-view, there are going to be fans in the building. Thank the Lord we are moving past this pandemic. At this point, I can't wait to get my ass to a wrestling show. I don't care which one it is. I don't care if it's an indie show, if it's the upcoming AEW show in Queens, New York in September, if it's whenever Vince decides to show up back in New York. I'm going to go to all of them, I hope. I can't wait to be part of that atmosphere again, to be around wrestling fans again. It's going to be great. It'll be great even at home, just watching when Money in the Bank goes down in front of fans again. Is Drew McIntyre going to win the Money in the Bank in order to enable himself to have another shot at the championship? That's a question we need to ask ourselves going forward. As long as it's not The Miz, I guess I'll be okay with it, but I don't want to see Bobby versus Drew again. Hopefully by then they move past the almighty thing, or just move past Drew McIntyre altogether. Get him involved with somebody else. There are other terrible choices with Money in the Bank looming. We could get another Jinder Mahal scenario. We don't want that. Maybe we'll get Brock Lesnar coming back, winning the Money in the Bank again. That's wishful thinking. That's wishful thinking. But who knows? Who knows? But thankfully, this is all over. The Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, the Thunderdome on pay-per-view. We return to a little bit of normalcy, and maybe I'll get to see you guys out there for real at some of these shows here in New York City. Thank you all so very much. That's your Hell in a Cell review. I'm done talking about it. It was fucking boring as hell. It was boring as hell. Hopefully I was more entertaining for you guys. I'm here to bring you guys the news, to bring the hammer down, and to let you know that the entirety of Hell in a Cell 2021, regardless of the fact that they had a few good matches, poop hammer worthy, as usual. And now we have to wait for tomorrow and sit through 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, which is going to be even worse than this. Hope to see you guys for the review of that when the hammer comes down on Raw tomorrow night. Thank you all so very much for being here. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Yeti microphone, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you guys right now. So hit that like button if you had a good time here with me today, if you agreed with anything I had to say. Bring the hammer down on that thumbs up right now. Share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need a place to come and call home and be part of a community where they can shit all over the WWE as well, with nobody telling them what to say or do. It's all on you guys to let me know what you think down in the comments section below. If you missed anything on the channel, it will be linked in the annotations up above, and a couple probably in the description down below as well, like the Masters of the Universe Revelation trailer reaction, which is really fun to go back and watch. Huge He-Man fan, but very concerned about the upcoming series. Maybe there'll be more on that coming to the channel if you guys like that. I got some Resident Evil Village gameplay that nobody really seems to have watched yet, so get in on it and watch that and let me know what you think. I suck at that game, by the way. And, of course, all of the other wrestling reviews that you may have missed. The 2 go-home shows that sucked to high hell, leading us to this pay-per-view. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to do it. We are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.